a 2016 Nissan GTR, and what we're doing today is pretending like it's ours. I've rented this car from a place that I will not name. We just wanted to see what the car felt like to live with every day. So I'm going to be doing a series of testing different supercars to see what they're like to live with on a daily basis. And what I mean by daily basis, I mean normal functions. So here we are at the Morton Arboretum in Lisle, where I'm just taking a lovely stroll through the entire area and seeing what it's like to drive at slower speeds, what this car is exactly not made for. As we're driving kind of slower here, the car itself I think is very quiet at idle. However, in these lower gears, the DCT dual clutch transmission is a little clunky. I will give it that. But what's really exciting today is we're going to be able to test and show off all the predominant features since we have such a short time with this vehicle. This car is pretty quick. It's practical. It has a big trunk. It has all-wheel drive. It has an automatic gearbox. Oh, but it also does 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. It has a top speed of just under 200 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest sports cars or supercars to come out of Japan. And what's really, really awesome about this is right now it doesn't really feel like it. However, as you can see, all the people around us are staring at this car because it has an obnoxious paint job. But to see a little bit more about what the Nissan GTR is actually like, let's take it out somewhere we can stretch its legs. Nissan GTR, 545 horsepower, 473 pound-feet of torque, from a 3.8 liter twin turbocharged V6. The GTR comes from a long lineage of the Skyline family with pedigree and history from the R32, R33, and R34. While some argue it's not technically a Skyline, we definitely see some of that heritage bred in, especially from the previous Skyline, the R34. Why? Because it was also an all-wheel drive Japanese 2+2 coupe from Japan. And of course, we all know that in the second Fast and Furious film, Paul Walker drove that in that very beautiful Bayside blue color in the second Fast and Furious installment. But the reason why I think this car is still so special is in today with all the advanced technology, and what this car is technically pinned up against from a competition perspective is very, very tough. Today what I'm going to talk about is why this car is such a good all-around supercar. And when I mean good all-around supercar is not just outside of the performance, but its daily livability, practicality, exclusiveness, or uniqueness, as well as its overall appeal and how it's held up over all these years. The GTR has been out for almost a decade now. To be honest, little changes have been made here and there, but overall not much has changed. What's really, really crazy is we were just driving around in the park. At slower speeds, sure, it might have been a little bit loud and obnoxious, but overall, it was actually somewhat well behaved. One of the drawbacks is the fact that the gearbox is very, very clunky. The car needs to have a 7th gear because I'm driving 60 odd miles an hour right now, and it's still pretty loud in here. As you can hear that drone in the background, as I'm driving along at 60-something miles per hour on the highway, I feel like, once the ride becomes longer than a couple hours or so, I think it's going to get kind of annoying in the long run. Now, the nickname of this car in Japan is called Godzilla. And the reason behind that is because it's known to be a Ferrari or a Lamborghini killer because it's so fast. I feel like this car kind of lacks the luxury tastefulness and kind of classy looks and elegant lines, but it substitutes that with blistering performance. In a straight line, this thing is a rocket ship. After those turbos spool up, you hit that 6,400 RPM red line where you're boosted into outer space. That's where this car is really something special. Even though these back seats don't really fit, full-sized people, I still feel like it definitely will be useful for storage, small kids or dogs or, whatever else. And even if you wanted to, I bet you could probably shove a car seat back there. It has a large trunk that's about 9 feet of cubic space, which is just about the size of a Mustang. It has the racetrack potential as it went around the Nürburgring in, I believe, 8 minutes. It's developed around the Nürburgring So we know that the car is very balanced. It's not a one-trick pony like a Dodge Hellcat or Dodge Demon when it does 10-second quarter miles. It's something that can do a little bit of everything. It's fast in a straight line. It's fast around a circuit. It has a large trunk. It has back seats. I think for that reason it makes it very competitive in comparison to the other very, very drivable daily supercars out there. I'm talking about the AMG GTR. I'm talking about the 911 Turbo. I'm talking about the Audi R8. I think the GTR is right up there with one of the best daily driver supercars that you can buy out there on the market today. And I think for that reason, it really has held up really, really well all these years. And the most special thing about the Nissan GTR is how fast it can accelerate in a straight line. Let me give you a demonstration. There you go. It does 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds and onto a top speed of just under 200 miles an hour. Well, I don't know about you, but even by today's standards, that's still pretty darn fast. This thing is like an absolute rocket ship. Very, very, very quick upshifts from the dual clutch transmission. At speed, this car will go to 0 to 60 from a dead stop in 2.9 seconds. And that's due to the very, very advanced and very mechanical launch control that Nissan developed just specifically for this car. And also due to the fact that it's all-wheel drive. So when you mash that throttle, power is going to all four wheels. Sure, a Bugatti Veyron is fast, or a Koenigsegg Agera R, or even some of the Teslas out there. But can they do what this car does? I'm not so sure. One of the amazing things about the GTR is it has the ability to customize everything as far as the suspension and race settings go. So you have the ability to kind of dial it back, or if you want to harden the suspension, just change it. All you have to do is hold these buttons down to turn snow mode on, in this case, comfort mode on, or race mode off. But if you want to have a lot of fun, we're going to do race mode on. Pull all that out of my ass.
Dude, you're getting really good at this shit. You would just rattle it off, man. But that's awesome.